In 2019, Facebook hit its own internal research proving Instagram made body image issues worse for 1 in 3 teenage girls, 32%, from their own slide deck, written by their own researchers. Yet Mark Zuckerberg sat before the United States Senate 2 years later and said his platform cared deeply about young users, and not one executive has ever faced a courtroom for it. So why did it take a whistleblower for you to ever hear that sentence? Instagram was the aspirational platform, the place where you built your brand, followed your favorite athletes, watched sunsets from places you'd never afford. Facebook, the parent company, sold the story of connection. Mark Zuckerberg stood before Congress in 2018 and said his platform was about bringing people together. Instagram, he said, was creativity and community. Advertisers believed him. Parents downloaded the app for their kids. Lawmakers nodded along. The public image was clean, a visionary connecting the world. The cracks formed inside Building 20 at Facebook's Menlo Park campus. In 2019, an internal research team launched a study. They wanted to understand how Instagram affected its youngest users, teenagers, mostly girls. What they found was not ambiguous. Their own slide deck, later obtained by whistleblower Frances Hodgen, contained a line that should have stopped the entire company cold. We make body image issues worse for 1 in 3 teen girls. Not 1 in 100, 1 in 3. The data went deeper. 13% of British teenage users said Instagram made thoughts of suicide worse when they were already having them. 6% of American users said the same. These were not guesses. These were Facebook's numbers, commissioned by Facebook, validated inside Facebook, briefed to executives in Mark Zuckerberg's direct orbit, and then buried. Here is what did not happen next. Nobody hit pause. There was no emergency meeting. No internal memo went out saying halt everything. Instead, Facebook quietly shelved the research. They ran a small internal test called Project Daisy, a feature that would hide public-like counts on posts. Their own data confirmed it reduced social comparison anxiety in teenagers. It worked. And they killed it anyway because hiding likes meant reducing engagement. Engagement meant ad revenue. They made the calculation. They knew exactly what it cost. And then they moved forward toward Instagram for Kids, a version of the platform designed for children under 13. While sitting on evidence, the current version was already damaging the ones already using it. When Frances Hodgen walked out of Facebook's offices in May 2021, carrying tens of thousands of internal documents and handed them to the Wall Street Journal, what she exposed was not a rogue team or a bad actor operating in secret. It was institutional knowledge. The Facebook papers, published in September 2021, showed a pattern, a system. The teen research was one document in a much larger archive. There were documents showing Facebook knew its algorithms amplified outrage and extremism, and kept them anyway because outrage drives clicks. Documents showing they'd flagged health misinformation as dangerous during COVID while publicly denying any role in spreading it. Documents showing their own civic integrity team modeled exactly how January 6th could unfold, months before it did. And then the most gut-punch detail of all. The people who raised these alarms internally were repeatedly overruled by the growth team, because growth was the metric. Safety was a cost center. Instagram at the time of the leak, over 1 billion monthly users, 40% of new users accessing it for the first time before age 13. Facebook was not an accidental bystander to the mental health collapse happening inside an entire generation of American teenagers. Their own researchers named them a cause. Their own product teams received that information. And the decision to keep building to suppress the findings, to announce Instagram for Kids anyway, was made deliberately. By people whose names are on the org chart, people who are still employed, people who are still paid. Mark Zuckerberg appeared before the Senate Commerce Committee in October 2021. He said Facebook cared deeply about young users. He said the research had been mischaracterized. No senator had subpoena authority over the internal documents. No regulator had the mandate to force algorithmic changes. Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, written in 1996, before social media existed, shields platforms from liability for content their own systems amplify. Facebook spent over $20 million in lobbying in 2021 alone. The FTC had levied a $5 billion fine in 2019 for a separate privacy violation, the largest in its history. Zuckerberg paid it. The stock went up that same day. When a $200 billion company absorbs the largest consumer protection fine ever issued and the market celebrates, that is not accountability. That is proof of immunity. Instagram for Kids was paused under public pressure in late 2021. By 2023, it was back, rebranded as Instagram for teens with parental controls Facebook controls the settings for. The research was never retracted. The algorithm was never fundamentally restructured. The 1 in 3 number still lives inside a slide deck Facebook's own team wrote and its own leadership read and chose to act on by doing nothing. No law forced a reckoning. No executive sat before a jury. The liability shield is still intact. The lobbying budget is still intact. The quarterly earnings pressure that beats every safety recommendation is still intact, which means one question doesn't go away. What research is sitting on a server in Menlo Park right now that you won't hear about for another 2 years?